How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Repti-verse. I am exhausted, didn't sleep very much last night, woke up really early to go to work, and I'm not scheduled today. So I went to Home Depot, got a bunch of the supplies and things that I didn't already have for the tegus enclosure. The plywood is downstairs, and it's 27 degrees outside right now, so gonna get to work on it, I guess, because this is like one of my only days that I'll have to do it. Go away, car. I'm also a DoorDasher, so I'm probably going to do some DoorDashing later today just to make up some of this money that I just spent. But anyway, I'm going to get some coffee. As you can see, it's a little bit later in the day. It's a little bit warmer, although I'm wearing two hoodies right now because I went to find a heater in the basement that I could like put down in the garage so that it was a little bit warmer. Yeah, let me step out of here because the echo's probably kind of bad. I tried to find a heater I could put in here. Didn't really have one I could put in there. Have some that are like for a bedroom, but that's like for a closed room, not an open garage where the air is just going to keep getting circulated through. But anyway, I figured I'd show you like the progress I've made so far. I don't remember how much of this stuff I had when I updated it last. I think I had most of it. I think I had all the Home Depot stuff. So just since then, I've gotten like some wood glue, gotten a couple of latches and some caulk. I got a staple gun, and I got 4 of these. I'll leave a link to these in the description. I really like these for vents because, especially if you're using them for like smaller animals, they have this mesh on the back, and like if you have crickets or something in here, the crickets aren't gonna go through there and escape. So I like that a lot. Yeah, and this is where the building is so far. It's not perfectly centered, but I don't really care that much. This is frame for one of the doors. I actually haven't decided if it's going to be 3 or 4-sided. It kind of depends on where I am with the rest of the materials. It's probably just going to be 3-sided like this, and then the glass will come about to the edge here. It'll be a little bit lower on one side so I can put the latches on. But yeah, so they measure, what is this, like 33 inches by 32 inches, something like that. But yeah, so I was gonna do the thing where you use a table saw and you cut down the middle to slip the glass into the grooves. I'm not skilled enough to do that, and there's nobody that can help me do that here. So I'm just gonna glue it on to one side of it. Gonna be glued onto the inside with wood glue. Let that cure for a while, of course. Don't want to mess that up. And when that's done, I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to screw the hinges onto both ends over here. And when the hinges are on, then I can just attach them to the enclosure when that's finished, which I'm going to get as much of it done today as I can. I probably can't get all of it done. I'll be able to finish more of it tomorrow, probably. But the whole thing will probably be complete like Monday, I'd assume. If not Monday, then on Wednesday. But yeah, so I'm going to keep at it. Oh, and one more quick thing. I also got these because I want this to be on casters. So I got the heaviest duty casters I could find at Home Depot. These each can hold 330 pounds. Because I looked it up online, and however many you have, you can multiply the weight capacity by the number of casters that you have, and that's how much it can hold. So this can hold like a little over 1,900 pounds, like 1,980, almost 2,000 pounds. And because I wanted casters, but I didn't want casters that are going to just snap off at a couple hundred pounds, because this enclosure alone will be a couple hundred pounds, and after this one, I'm planning on making an 8-foot enclosure for all of the snakes except for one of them. That being the African house snake. The African house snake is too small and would escape out of anything that I built. So, just for all the other snakes, they're going to be in 8-foot enclosures. The anaconda will probably take a little bit longer to get into an 8-foot. But anyway, I'm rambling. I wanted those to be strong enough to be able to hold the weight of this enclosure, as well as, like, 2 more? Yeah, 2 more enclosures on top of it. That'll be, like, 1.5 feet tall. Probably have my ball python and my Burmese python in those, and then I'm going to do another 8-foot by 4-foot for the retic, and then 1.5-foot enclosures on top of those for the berm and the anaconda. Unless I put the anaconda on the bottom, because I'm considering also having, like, a drainage system with the anaconda in a water pool, so I can just drain the water out and clean it easier, because that would be the easiest thing to do rather than have to pull like a concrete mixing tub in and out of that enclosure every time I was trying to clean it. But yeah, so now I'm gonna get back to work. Okay, I'm really I probably have to bleep that out. Oh my gosh. Okay, I did all of these angles wrong. Well, half of these angles incorrectly. So some of the angles are going out this way. They all need to be facing in like this to go flush here, and there's supposed to be this 1/2-inch gap on each one so that the other 8-foot by 4-foot plywood sheets can just go flush into it and be screwed onto the 2x4s. And I'm losing daylight. I'm not going to be able to get this done. I thought I would get this whole thing done tonight, and then just do dry lock either tonight or in the morning and be finished, but it's going to take me another day or two. Probably 2. Shoot. Yeah. So, and I can't just like shift this one down, because then there's all this space open. And I need this to be able to go flush. This one was cut right. I don't know how I managed to cut one of them right, and then the rest of them wrong. Okay, so I managed to be able to salvage this without having to go and buy a whole lot more wood. I had to buy one more board over there, but that's honestly just because I can't find the other ones. I don't know what happened to them. But this is getting put together. This is just a side piece. This one is about done. I'm probably going to put an extra screw right here to really get this piece flush with the plywood. But yeah, so gonna repeat this process that I did here on the other piece of plywood. And then the sides will be done, and then the next step will be to attach the sides to the base. But before I can attach them to the base, I have to put the supports onto the base of the enclosure, and I have to put the casters under that so that I don't have to put casters on the enclosure after it's basically put together and then struggle to flip it over. Because it's hard enough to move one 4x8 sheet of plywood, especially on your own. It's a lot harder to do it when it's the equivalent of like 5 of them. So, making progress. This enclosure might be almost done, if not 100% done, in the next day or maybe 2. Depends on what I'm doing tonight. Relief. But yeah, so once it's all put together, all I need to do is get the paint. I don't remember. I think it's dry lock. I'm pretty sure it's dry lock that you paint on the inside. I think that's what it's called. The name is just slipping my mind. And I also got a can of Flex Seals liquid rubber, and I'm going to paint that on the base of the enclosure where the most moisture is going to be, just to give that an added layer of protection. And yeah, then the enclosure will be done, and all I have to do is get lights and heat and all that jazz in it, and the tegu can move in. Okay, first tip I have, these screws, these ones specifically, I would not recommend getting these for builds because they keep doing this. Don't know if you can see that down there, or maybe you can see it in that one. No, not really. Well, the tops of these screws, when I'm drilling them in, they continuously snap off. Like here's a, like that. So I still have a few more of these. I think I have a little more than a dozen of them left. But I'm not going to be using the rest of these. I might use these for a different sort of a project, but not for an enclosure build. And yes, I've been using 2 drills all day. I'm using the DeWalt and the Ryobi because I've had one of these bit. I don't remember what it's called. I've had one of these on the Ryobi, and then just the star bit on the DeWalt, because these are star bit screws. Yeah, like that. So, star bit is my favorite kind of screw. They're a lot stronger. They don't strip out as easily as just like the normal screws that you find. But again, the problem I'm running into with these is that they're just breaking. So I did finish these 2 side panels. They're not amazing. Over here, I tried to do some without making pilot holes first, and that happened. But I'll just fill that in with caulk when I go through and caulk around all the edges before I go in and actually do the dry lock around the whole inside, because this just isn't quite as good at getting the cracks and crevices as this stuff is. This is what I used on my only other enclosure build that I've ever done. But yeah, so these are the 2 side panels. They're 4 feet by 4 feet, so this enclosure is going to for sure be 4 feet deep and 4 feet tall, just like it should be for an adult tegu enclosure. Yeah, so I need to go get more screws, and I need to move all this stuff down into the basement because I'm pretty much finished with everything I need to do. It's just those screws, man. I might be able to find some more in here somewhere, but I don't know. If not, I have to go to the store, but that's not a huge deal. It's like, I live like 3 minutes away from the nearest Home Depot, so pretty convenient. Not the end of the world. It'll take me 20 minutes to get there and back and buy everything I need. But yeah, so I'm going to get this all moved. I need to work on the base of this enclosure. So I also decided to pick up one of these. Very happy because I'm starting to do a lot more enclosures. This is not the only 8-foot enclosure that I'm going to be doing. So this is the Ryobi Caulking Gun. It's so cool. I feel like I break caulking guns every time I try and use them. So I bought one with a battery. Alright, this is where I'm at now. I got this 2x4 screwed down well. Need to get this one on next. And what's going to happen after I do that is the side pieces way over there are going to be screwed onto each end. Well, actually, directly before I do that, the casters are going to be put on this enclosure because I definitely do need them on here because I don't want to have something like a snake escape and get behind this massive enclosure. Also, is being built right here, and if I built it all right here without casters, there's no way I'd get it into that corner. Anyway, how's everybody doing today? Hi, Sirius. He has snake mites right now, by the way, so does that whole stack of enclosures. Thankfully, nothing over here does. Video coming out about that soon. A lot better now than it was 2 weeks ago. Anyway, so I showed the casters earlier in this video. Once I get them on, then I'm going to put the sides on. Then I'm going to put the back, top, and front on. And later today, I'm going to have my dad help me with this because I'm not a very good carpenter. I have a jigsaw that I'm going to cut the door holes into one of those panels for. And I just want to make sure it's done right. So I'm going to have my dad help me do it so that it is done right. And then this enclosure will just need to be water sealed and have lighting put in. It's coming along. Alright, there we go. It's raised about 6 inches off the ground. See, it rolls super easily. And it can support about 2,000 pounds, like I said earlier in this video, with those casters. So, next thing I need to do is I'm going to pick up the sides, move this stupid thing out of the way. Not a stupid thing. This is this is mine. I just keep banging my head into it, so I kind of hate it right now. But I'm going to put the sides on, screw those together, and then all I need to do is put on the back piece and the top piece. And then I need to cut door holes out of the front piece. I don't need to cut them out of the front piece before I put it on. I need to just trace where they are, because that'll make it easier. And then I can put the front piece on, cut the doors out, screw the doors on, then water seal everything, and we're done. Oh, also need to put the vents on. Well, measurements were slightly off for these, but I don't have the time to go get more wood. So this will have to do. It'll be fine once these are screwed together. It's just to give this bottom piece a little bit extra support, and that'll do it just fine. I'll just have to make sure to seal it a lot better. Yeah, so gonna get these on, and then our next step is to get those side pieces on. Alright, there's one side, there's the other side, got the middle done, so I just need to put the sides on, the top on, and then cut out holes for the doors. Then all I need to do after that is waterproof this sucker and get lighting and the animal in it. So, finally about done. I've been working on plans for this thing for months, and it's finally getting done. So happy. And I'm purposely building this, by the way, in a way that I can take it apart easily. That's why I'm primarily using these star-bit screws, because they don't strip out as easily as the normal screws do. Because I'm not going to live in this house forever, and I'd like to be able to remove those as I need to. So, yeah, getting done with this thing, finally. This tegu's needing an upgrade since the day I brought him home, so can't wait to get that done. Alright, the whole frame is together, so the next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to use spray foam, go on those two outside edges, and then I'm going to use this caulk, and with that caulking gun, and go around all the edges. I'm going to let that sit for not too terribly long, but I'm going to let it sit for a little bit, and then I'm going to go through with the liquid rubber, and I'm going to paint that on the bottom. And the sides, back and top, will be done with dry lock. Alright, sorry about the echo in here, but kind of have to be in here for the next step. Next step is I take the Flex Seal, take my paintbrush, and I'm painting over the whole bottom. I know there's still quite a bit of foam out, but I'm not that concerned about it. If I get to a spot and I feel like there's too much, I'm just gonna peel some away. But it's gonna keep it all sealed away from water, and you won't even be able to see it anyway when all the substrate is in, and when I get the custom background in, you're not going to see it anyway, so not that worried. But yeah, so I need to go ahead and get started on this because it's about 9 o'clock. I don't know how long this is going to take me, and I have to be awake in 9 hours so that I can go to work. All right, I'm going to get to it. Okay, so I also got the locks on. Yeah. So next thing I'm doing is painting. So I got all the stuff to do it with. Where's my paint roller? Yeah, got everything I need to paint the inside with. Painting it with dry lock. And I'm gonna just go ahead and get started because this will probably take me a while. Not nearly as long as all that took. I have to clean that out anyway because that got kind of messy. I drilled a few more holes in the top to put cords through because I have 2 in the back to put cords through that I'm going to use temporarily. I realized I'm going to want some on top too, because if I just put cords down through there, then when I put the Universal Rocks background in the future, I'm not going to have anywhere to put cords through, so I went ahead and drilled holes now rather than doing that later. Yeah, so I'm going to get to it. Okay, so I'm currently on the last step of this build. The next thing I have to do that I'm doing currently, I forgot to film some of this, so I'm running wiring for lights. So what you do here is really simple. You take, I'm using these clippers here, and you cut off this piece, and then you'll use, they also make specific tools for this. You use these round rings. I have to use the biggest one. And you strip these off of the ends to expose the copper wiring. And then what you do is you screw the copper wiring down, the appropriate screws. So for these, this is the gold one, this is the silver one if you are colorblind. The end that would be the big end on the cord, so this end that wire would be screwed into the gold, and then the smaller end would be screwed into the silver. And then once that's all together, your lighting should work, and I just have to screw them into the ceiling of this enclosure, and then I'm also going to go upstairs and get, mine went blank. I'm going to go upstairs and get a, I believe it's a 36, it's either a 24-inch or a 36-inch UVB bulb holder. Sometime in the future when I get the background within this enclosure, I'm going to get one of these, like, big strip things in here. But for now, especially since he's in brumation right now, it's not a huge issue. So yeah, this enclosure is just about done. Oh, I also added these wheels to hold the door shut a little bit better. And there's technically 4 locks on this thing, so he doesn't have a hope of getting out. But yeah, so gonna get back to it. Thank you all so much for watching the video. That is going to be it for this video. I'll show you guys real quick how the enclosure looks now. It's all put together. The only thing I have to do really is I'm gonna vacuum it out, and then I can put the snake inside. Or not snake, I can put the lizard inside. Man, it's been a long day. But yeah, so has multiple locks. It has a wheel latches on, so it's not so easy to open up. Well, there it is, but you can see what I mean. But yeah. Alrighty, thank you all so much for watching. It means the world to me that you stuck around for this entire video. The enclosure is built. Next video, I have a few upgrades to do, so the next video might be a little bit of a longer video, because I have 1, 2, 3 upgrades I'm going to do in one video. I'm going to put the tegu in his enclosure. Then I'm going to use his 4-foot enclosure down there. going to put my retic in that enclosure, and then I'm going to put my anaconda in the bin that the retic is in, so they'll all have a little bit more space. But yeah, so the reason why I'm not putting the tegu upgrade in this video is because it is Wednesday night. Thursday is my upload day, and I'm not going to have time. Well, I definitely can't do it tonight. I mean, all the lights are off and stuff. He's asleep. I'm not going to bother him. I mean, he's brewmating, but I only want to bother him just to shift him into this enclosure, and that's it. And I also can't just leave this massive enclosure in the middle of the floor. Let me get some more light in here. More light, that's better. I can't just leave that enclosure there, so I have to move every enclosure in here to a more suitable place. So that's going to be basically an all-day project. Tomorrow is going to be putting all this together. So next week's video, or this might be a bonus video. The upgrades will probably be a bonus video because next week's video is a Thanksgiving special. I'm going to be feeding a bunch of quail off to my animals and some rats to the animals that eat rats. But yeah, so be sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you want to see those videos. Like the video if you hadn't done so already. Click the dislike button if you didn't enjoy the video and tell me how I can improve in the future. And be sure to join me back in the next video. Peace out, YouTube.